Okay, this is the final and most important part of your paper floor project. The first thing you're going to need to apply the polyurethane is one of these lamb's wool applicators. You can get them at Lowe's or Home Depot, and they cost about $12, okay? And then you'll need a extension. This is a 4-foot extension, which works just fine with a thread on it, so it'll screw right into the applicator, and then you can obviously stand up and use it to apply the polyurethane. You just simply put the polyurethane in a paint tray, typical, you get it on here and then you put it on the floor. I don't try to clean and reuse these. You can see that there's a couple of nuts you can take off here. This lamb's wool is just simply held together by these 2 wooden pieces. So hopefully before it dries, you can remove these screws, these nuts, and separate these 2 wooden pieces. You can see that this lamb's wool will just come right out and you can throw it away. If it is dry, you can get a screwdriver up in here to help separate it. Then you just simply get the refill, and I got this once again at Lowe's. It was about $8 for a 10-inch lamb's wool refill. And then you just put it around like this, put the blocks together, tighten them, and you're ready to go for another application. Okay. Obviously, the most important part of this is going to be your polyurethane. Okay. In this case, I'm using Varathane. This is a gloss finish, oil-based, clear. They also make a satin if you want it to be a little less glossy. One thing you need to be aware of is this polyurethane is going to give off a very, very strong odor while it's drying. So what you're going to want to do, if it's a bedroom, you're going to want to close the door and then put towels on the other side of the door at the bottom to keep the fumes from coming out. They make a water-based version of this that supposedly does not have the fumes or the odor that this one has. I haven't tried it, but if you're concerned with that, you can try the water-based version. You're going to pay about $40 a gallon for the oil base and $50 a gallon for the water-based polyurethane. That's not cheap, but consider this is your floor. I mean, you don't want to try to pinch pennies at this part because this is what's going to protect your floor. And in this case, it's really still not that expensive. We did this back bedroom for less than $100. We've done most of the house except the very front dining area and the kitchen for total, with this room, less than $500. So it's a very, very economical way to do your floors. What will happen sometimes after you've applied the polyurethane, it dries, you will sometimes get these little dark spots, and what that's caused by is either you didn't let the paper dry good enough before you applied the polyurethane, or you had a little too much water in your glue water mixture. And for some reason, the polyurethane, when it dries, it just reacts and does a dark spot. If that happens, don't worry. If you have any places you don't like the way they look, you can simply patch them. Even after you've applied your 4 or 5 coats of polyurethane, which is exactly what's going on here. Any of these pieces you see that are much lighter in color than the floors where I've patched it. The good news is you don't have to go buy another gallon of Elmer's glue oil. You can simply get just a couple of smaller bottles to make a much smaller batch of water and glue mixture for your patching. The one thing you want to do though is you want to make this mixture a little more heavy on the glue side, because you're gluing these pieces now to polyurethane, not to concrete. So just make your mixture with less water and more glue, okay? And then once the patches are dry, as these are, they're ready to be finished with polyurethane. And this basically is the finished floor minus the patches being done. And you'll see that you've got some nice variation in color, which is what you want. You've got the crinkle pattern, as I call it, that gives it the appearance of stone. These floors are very, very durable if you put down the polyurethane, like I said, enough coats. We just did this back bedroom, but the rest of the house we did about 3 years ago, and we have had to basically do nothing but clean them. You can vacuum the floors very easily and then clean them with a water vinegar mixture, mop them, and then dry them with a towel. So they're very durable. One thing I like about the paper floors over staining the concrete, the paper and polyurethane give you a little bit of a insulation against the bare concrete. Obviously, you can throw an area rug down in the room to cut down on echo and to make the floor a little warmer to your bare feet. Of course, in the summertime, it feels great. Another good thing about this is you can always come back later and put something else down. You could recarpet this, you could put hardwood down, you could put tile down. So not only is this great if you're on a budget, it's also great if you need to do something besides carpet, but you're not ready yet to do maybe a more extensive project like tile or hardwood floors. This is a very inexpensive way to get some flooring down until you decide what you want to do later. In this case, this is going to be our floor for probably at least 4 or 5 years before we do anything else to it. It's, once again, I think it looks great, it's economical, and it's easy to do, which is perfect for a do-it-yourself project. I wish you luck if you attempt this, and I really appreciate you watching.